Let me get this straight. You blew up a building.
2 CIs and the CEO of 22andU?
Two competing federal agencies with the same mission.
I don't understand why those Fed a-holes are so darn mean.
To protect the public from the scourge of dangerous misinformation.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
The word entrapment, not even in their vocabulary.
The explosives we provided were fake.
Sworn to a duty to always tell the truth.
We have no indication at this time that this was a deliberate act.
We're all being transferred.
To where?
The only place currently with openings. Alaska.
Good morning.
Welcome to the office, huh?
And we got the retro feel. You know, the funny about federal buildings, they're all different, but they're still somehow all the same.
Oh, good morning, Agent Walker. At the coffee station. We actually drew straws before he got here, and I won, so we get to work together.
Let's get started. Let's see if we can't stir something up.
Let's give it a minute. I like to warm up the truth muscles, a little coffee beforehand.
Well, what do you want to do first?
What do we have for a surveillance van?
Oh, wow. I got a Ford Explorer. We don't have a surveillance van.
Do you put many cases here?
Cases?
Yeah, cases. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy.
You really believe this? You really believe that people posting crap online is going to cause our country to crumble?
I think the work that we do is important.
We don't have a surveillance van.
Me and some people got one. We've never needed one.
We need a surveillance van. We need a big case or a CI who can lead us to a big case.
What do you need the van for?
Surveillance.
CIs, or confidential informants, are the lifeblood of any good law enforcement agency. Public posts on social media are one of the best ways to find CIs. Agents would never use coercion or take things out of context to try and persuade someone to become a confidential informant.
New Taylor Swift single is absolute fire. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here.
Agents always need to be on their toes and ready to make snap decisions.
Is there anything I can do for you guys? Actually, David, there is something you can do for us.
Chicky nuggies.
Chicken nuggies.
What?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. McDonald's cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Burger King cheeseburger.
Flame broiled.
Chicken nugget.
Oh, baby, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be your beaver pilot. Said, honey, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be.
Awesome, right?
Is this a loner?
This thing's totally legit.
What is this? It's got windows!
All right, nothing has exploded yet. We will see. Maybe. Ooh. And I got vocals. I hear it in my ear. Woo! And as you can see, the picture's clearer. Oh my goodness, we got some stuff going on today. I'm not exactly happy with the sound, but I will get there. I'm I'm never happy with the sound. So it's it's a work in progress. Let's just say that. Let's just say that it's a work in progress, and it sounds pretty dang good, actually. It does. I'm not okay. All right. It does sound pretty good. We have, I decided that it was time for a new computer. And I'll tell you why. I liked the one I had, and it lasted me for multiple years. And stuff's just not made. It's just not made to work as long as it used to. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like stuff is just disposable more now. So it was quite a hard decision. But so this the computer I did give up though. Let's take a look at the issues we had. One, we had all the sound issues going on. We had all the craziness going on with that. Then it's like months ago, it stopped working where you couldn't turn the computer off because you couldn't turn it back on. You hit the power switch. But then I took it to this guy, the computer repair place. And well, thank you. Right. Yeah, no, it looks great. I mean, the backdrop and everything looks good. The sound's good. It's kicking along great. I got all everything opened. So yeah, I'm pleased. So I took the old computer to the old local place and I'm just adjusting myself there. Look at that. Took it to the local place for fixing computers. And he plugged it in and he's hitting the switch and it's working just fine. The switch is working fine. I'm like, I tell you, it wasn't working. You had to sit there and hit the button, and eventually it would come on. Nope, he got it. So I had like taken it apart and maybe punched it. And so he basically put the switch out, stuck it out through the hole, and then put a whole bunch of glue around it. So it's like glued in place. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Well, so what I figured out was the reason it worked is because he switched the power cord out. He had put in a new power cord and he was able to just turn it on and off like no tomorrow, right? And so I'm like, so for months I didn't turn the computer off. I restarted it multiple times. I restarted it occasionally because you had, it got bogged down. But for months and months and months, I didn't restart it. And then we had all the issues the other night with the sound I kind of figured out one thing by trying to do the same thing I did to that computer. There's a USB hub I have, and I was overloading the USB hub. So that was one of the issues, but that was not the main issue with the other computer. So it's, so it's got that. Then it started bogging down. Then I had the pausing with every click, and the mouse would just pause and I couldn't do any work. And so finally I'm like, all right. And so I ended up with the same type of computer. I ended up with another HP. But I don't need to add to it. I don't need it for racing. I want it for editing. All I'm going to do is watch videos on it, edit, and yell at people on X. That's all I'm going to use it for. So editing, it's going to be my daily living room entertainment vessel, which is, hey, this is entertainment. At least I hope it's entertainment. But anyway, that's my plan for that computer. We'll see how it goes. And I'm liking it so far. I did order a new USB hub because I like to order things. Oh, and I will not, and I have not loaded anything Logitech on this computer. I have gotten rid of my Logitech stuff. Oh, wait. We're not looking at, I forgot the doggo cam. Oh my gosh. Finny is back in the house, and I don't know, I was cat to weigh in. Is Finny behaving himself with the other was in the house, or is he still in that case? I guess we'll find out here in a minute. So he's been a little nutcase because of the girls in here. When the girls are, Finny is the funnest dog. No, he's still in there. Bump his camera up just a little bit. But that dog is never met anybody there he goes. Now he's taking off. Oh, nope. He's getting a better position. All right. Good job, Finny. He has never met a person, a thing, an animal that he doesn't love. That is and he's got a lot of love to give, let me tell you. He is the dog that he cleans the eyes of all the other dogs in the house. And we got a few. He's always, but there is a downfall. Because like I said, he has got all of the love to give. And then when it comes around that the girl dogs go through that time, that's all he can think about is love. He is the lovingest love. Oh yeah, no, he's not. Yeah, and what I realized too is I think that was the USB that was just, one of the USBs was overloaded because I had everything going into that one hub. And so the new hub I got is a USB 2.0, so I'll be able to plug a lot of stuff into that. Plus I got the camera going straight into the back of the thing. But yeah, poor Mr. Finney there. He loves everything, everybody, every creature he's ever met. He is completely, I mean, there's not a mean bone in that dog's body. I tell you what. But he is he is funny. All right. I just so yeah, so we got a new computer, but that means most of my settings are in the wind. And I did as much as I could as copying settings, things and everything, but I'm still, running into things. So as we go forward, we will have issues, but I got the editing up here. So it's funny because I got home from work a little bit early too. And I'm like, oh, I got some time to set up the stream. And then I got sidetracked on settings and trying to get the Adobe Premiere settings up and finding a file here and doing this. And so I did not have any time to get anything set up, but so we're back to a full day of testimony. Oh, and we really didn't get to go over, so we missed a couple of days there. And tomorrow I'll have Michael, so I might save some of the Jen McCabe stuff because there's no court tomorrow for the Karen Reed trial. It is, you can't have court every single day. There's just no way that you can have court every single day during the week at all. It just can't happen, especially in Judge Bev's court. I did that on purpose. But so we had, what the heck just happened? I lost my headphones somehow. They just went off. I just heard a beep, 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 beep. And what in the world's going on? All right. Why are you okay? I charged them. Oh, there we go. And back off again. Oh, nope. All right. Are we back? I wonder if it thought it was going into some. Huh, okay, I'll have to. There's something. Hey, these little things are going to pop up. Like I said, I'm very, very happy with this computer right now. I'm extremely happy with it. Oh no, I figured you could hear me. I just all of a sudden my headphones went beep, 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 like I am turning off. That was kind of the sound it said. I am turning off. And so when you hear that sound that says, I am turning off, it's like, okay, I can't hear anything now. So yeah, so we had, it's been nuts. This trial is just different this time. It's just really, really, really different. And so it's hard to really put a finger on it. Even the testimony today with with Jen McCabe, I mean, she's a completely different witness. And I don't know if she went through, I'm kind of thinking she might have gone and got some kind of like witness coaching or something, because she is she sounds completely different on cross. She's holding herself together. Now she's a complete freaking psychopath. The woman is a complete psychopath. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She is nuts. Ooh, all right. Yeah, no. But I think that because she was asked, did anybody talk about, your demeanor this trial, or how to change your demeanor or any of that? And she's like, no. But she is a completely different witness. And like with a lot of these witnesses, their story has improved. Their delivery of the story has improved. Their memory of stuff of what happened has improved. These tiny little minutia are getting pulled out and yeah. So it does seem that there's just some hanky panky going on with old Hanky, the prosecutor. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. And then I don't know. I got oh man. I've been watching it. We haven't really talked about it, but I have been watching that, and he had Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy is one of the reasons. He's one of the main reasons that this trial has so many eyeballs on it. And good or bad, because he's got a lot of haters. Man, he has got a lot of people that hate him. I heard about it through I had no idea who Turtle Boy was. I might have seen his name pop up here and there on, stuff, because he did some really good stuff, but a lot of it was locally local to the Boston area. But occasionally some of his stuff broke through the wall, right? Because there is a big wall that you have to try and break through to get your message out. And so there were a few times where he went after like different council people in Boston and ended up getting them stripped, or like school people. I think the first thing was he got some folks in the school he was at were like, PDFs, and he got them out of there. And so he kind of picked up some popularity on that and some notoriety. But then this, he started like devoting in the Canton cover-up pieces, and just the digging that he did into this case, the Karen Reed case, is the reason he's in the trouble he's in right now. But it is also the reason why this case gained so much notoriety, because it's so freaked up. It's just such a mess of a case. And then you tie in the Sandra Birchmore case to this, and you understand why there was a federal investigation. So yeah. So today he's been in jail for this case. He supposedly he was dating this woman named Lindsay, and then he wasn't dating her, and then she got hooked up with this Kate Peters, who Turtle Boy has talked about quite extensively. Used to be a compadre and a helper for Turtle Boy, then turned on him. Then she got involved in all this. Then this was Lindsay, one of Turtle Boy's ex-girlfriends, who accused him of assaulting her. And that's how he got thrown. He got thrown in jail for like 30 days. And then he went on his live stream like over the weekend and, you know, said a few things about one of the lead investigators, the Lieutenant Tolley, who we've heard about through this trial, said a few things about him. And then so he shows up today at another hearing for this bogus witness intimidation trial or charges that he has against him that, you know, they haven't set a trial date. They haven't said anything. They're just holding this prosecution over this guy's head, trying to keep him on a leash. And then they took the stuff that he said on his live show, and the prosecutor guy or whatever wrote up a motion today to have them revoke his bail. So not only with this witness intimidation thing, he's actually has spent time in jail on it, and the judge could just come back and say, well, no, because he said even today, well, I'll take it under advisement. I'm not going to put you in jail right now, but I'll take it under advisement. So does that mean that there could just be a warrant issued and somebody just shows up and puts him back in jail? I mean, it is so ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, yep. She told Kate Peters, she told the prosecution that she'll not comply until that was Jen McCabe yesterday said, or according to, so there was an affidavit filed by a witness to all this and to me, the most important thing is for Karen Reed to get some sort of justice. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about. I appreciate everything Aiden and Turtle Boy has done. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with all of his actions, but nobody's asked to. I think he's put a lot on the line for this case, and he's gotten a lot of attention on it. But I think the most important thing is the fact that this person seemingly is getting railroaded by an entire state of Massachusetts. I mean, what we see, and you know, Hank Brennan told us in his opening statements that the facts and the science and the data is going to show that that he got run over by a car. And so far, we have no facts, we have no data, and we have no science that said that John O'Keefe was hit by a car. There has not been any science. There's been science that says that somebody sent a text message at a certain time, or somebody did not do a Google search at 2:27, or that somebody, you know, or there's been people that changed their testimony that said that, you know, that the defendant said, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? And then all of a sudden changed that to I hit him. But there is no science and data or any of that. But the science and data that they do have has come from experts that were hired by the FBI. The FBI is in, and hey, hang on, I gotta go grab a water real quick. I'm gonna put this on. Let's see, where was I at? Oh no. Oh, hang on, I want to teach the world to sing. So this was some of the testimony, because they had the Vordaer the other day, Vordaer on the ARCA witnesses the other day. And they said, you know, you deleted all these text messages, and all the text messages were from the first trial. It was a big nothing, but you know, whatever. So this was some of the testimony, and we'll just do this while I go get a couple things.
You didn't send one to the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth never reached out to us, sir. So what you said in this.
So let's go back a little bit. This was so Dr. Wolf, you remember he's the guy that built the cannon from last trial. He had sent a brief the night before he testified that said, "Hey, here's some good questions to ask me." Well, it was unsolicited, but he's a witness for them. So anyway, so he sent them this, and then Hank's mad.
Defense, and you gave me a response that this is something typical, but it's just an outline. You wouldn't answer whether it would help the defense or not, but the reality is you were assisting the defense, isn't it?
He said it
To allow that.
would assist
You
the
were making suggestions to help the defense, weren't
understanding.
you?
Sir, it wasn't to help the defense. It wasn't to help anyone but the jury understand things. As I just mentioned, that outline, if it was asked if I had sent one to the Commonwealth, you would have gotten the exact same copy.
You didn't send one to the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth never reached out to us, sir.
So what you said in this is there was a question about, so not being able to inspect the vehicle is something that is not uncommon in your line of work, and you wrote back, absolutely not, correct?
Correct.
And you made a comment to assist the jury, according to you, only to assist the jury. Not sure if you want to put this somewhere in the direct examination. I have a feeling they are going to argue I didn't personally inspect the vehicles. I had enough information from the material I reviewed, so it wasn't necessary. Need to show jury it doesn't matter in this case. Were those your comments to the defense before your testimony?
Absolutely. And it would have been the same argument probably from the defense if you had called me a witness about not being able to inspect the vehicle. I wanted the jury to have an understand that for the analysis I undertook, it did not matter that I did not physically inspect the vehicle, sir.
So when you're telling us here under oath before this court that you did nothing to assist the defense, you do not think that you making these suggestions on how to better the test
Did you hear that little giggle? Guy's such a wiener.
testimony for the defense, you don't think that's helping the defense?
No.
Okay. You said, not sure if you want to put this somewhere in the direct examination. So you're making suggestions to the defense about what you think could be helpful in the direct examination, correct?
Yep.
Sir, there were never any conversations between me and Mr. Jackson about what questions.
So this went on. I mean, he was, so from 5, let's see, when did he hit the stand? He hit the stand at 4:45 in this thing. So from 4:45, there's an hour that he was on the stand. And then like an hour and a half, he was grilled by Hank. And then the defense got a chance to say,
was ARCA under a contract with the United States Department of Justice?
Yes, sir.
Was there a contract number assigned to that contract?
Yeah.
So basically the complaint was they didn't get the, these guys helped the defense. They communicated, they deleted texts and, texts after the first trial. And most of them were just logistics, like, how to get there. Like that was all, that was the majority of them. Yeah. Yep. No, exactly. Tremaine. That trial was fun. So, hour and a half.
Was there-
and then you got poor Dr. Rentschler came all the way down here. And so, I'm sorry, go back. Prosecutor got more time. So he's like on the stand for 2 hours. And then you get his partner, Dr. Rentschler, who's on the stand for like 10 minutes.
So when I
Keeping a record, whether it's a phone call or a text message or an email, there's no concerns when you're dealing with clients having a record of that, is there?
Well, I don't believe that ARC has any specific policy for that, no, sir.
Did you keep track of your hours prior to your testimony?
I did, yes.
And before you testified, did you have conversations with people from the department?
So they go through all this rigmarole, hours and hours of testimony. And then we get to hear the outcome. Oh, that's day 7. I want day 6. So right at the beginning, we get to hear the outcome. And it's kind of interesting. So let's go through. So she actually lets Brennan get up and where'd it go? Is it not here? They're calling the jury back in. Where? Okay, now I'm confused. I thought it was. Bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, so day 5. Day 6. It should have been here. Or was it after lunch? No. Where is the ARCA decision? Or was it at the end of the day? Oh, yeah. Okay. It was at the end of the day. All right. So Hank gets his argument, and we'll go ahead and just kind of listen to some of this here. So we're going to listen to it at a little higher speed because I can't stand this dude's voice. So we're going to go half. Actually, because she's going to go through and stop every couple of minutes, I think we'll watch it from a different one. Let's watch Andrea's catch of that. Share this tab instead. I remembered, share this tab instead. Share this tab instead. All right. So Mr. Brennan had always said, now he did make an argument that has some merit to it. All right. There is one argument that he makes that has a bit, and I've heard some of the back and forth on this, and I'm trying to get to the right exact spot. Okay. I think this is it right here.
Like this time.
Okay. We are at the right spot. Nope. Exit full screen. Exit that. Okay. What he said was that ARCA testified in the first trial that, and they had all of this, they did all this testing on the car, and they did all this testing, and we as the prosecution have no way to rebut what their testing was. Now, they could have gotten the same report that the defense had from the ARCA experts. They could have got that. I was watching something though from Attorney Betterow today. He was on one of the channels, and he said, look, there are times in, and Hank was saying, and you'll hear it in here, that it's a Rule 14, which is a discovery violation. And it doesn't matter if it's the defense's fault or not, but it's a Rule 14 violation and they should not get away with it. However, when the shoe is on the other foot and you are a defendant in a trial, and there is some piece of evidence, even if it's exculpatory evidence, even if it could get you off, if it's not under the jurisdiction or the control of the prosecution at the time, you don't exactly have access to it or a right to access it through discovery, especially if it's something that the federal government has. The federal government is not controlled by state rules of discovery. So if you have a state case, let's say, and there is something that the feds have that could potentially get you off, they don't have to turn it over to you or anybody. They can just say, sorry, go pound sand. This is exactly the opposite thing. When Hank is saying we don't have the underlying, we don't have the underlying evidence, we don't have the underlying files or any of the underlying data that ARCA used to do that, and that's not fair to us, and it's a violation. Well, when the shoe's on the other foot, it's just suck it up, Buttercup. So that's kind of what it happened.
In the
So
pertinent
let's
part,
see what happens here. So
seems to track.
All right, Mr. Brennan, I'll hear you.
Your Honor, in light of yesterday's hearing with the ARCA witnesses, the Commonwealth is going to ask the court to preclude the ARCA witnesses from testifying both about any new testing and any new opinions, and secondly, from testifying about their original opinions turned over in a report prior to last year's trial.
So he even said at one point in time that he would not ask that they get excluded completely. He has now changed that opinion, and he says, I want them excluded completely. I want ARCA out of here. ARCA cannot testify whatsoever. I want them gone. I don't want them to testify on their original points. I don't want them to testify on any new information that they might try to rebut our witness. I don't want them to be able to do any of that. So this is his new argument right here.
To be brief,
Of course
what
you
we
are.
confirmed is that we do not have all of the discovery of communications. There was a court order for the ARCA witnesses to provide Your Honor with all of their information, phone records, text messages, communications about this case. Instead of providing their information to the court, they instead chose to send it to the defense, and then it was summarized and provided by the defense to the court and to the Commonwealth. It appears to me that is not in compliance with the court's order. What we learned during the hearing yesterday is that Dr. Wolf admittedly destroyed over 100 text messages. Now, he mentioned that he changed phone carriers, but then later admitted that he actually intentionally, for no apparent reason, destroyed the text messages in this case. And so what is left for Your Honor to look at is a summary of phone records from the defense and ARCA's information that is passed through the defense to the court. You do not have the text messages. You do not have the content of the text messages.
Thank you. I'm muted.
There is no summary.
I muted to not crinkle, and then I uncrinkled. So, all right. So he's arguing here that, okay, the text messages. Well, the text messages were from trial number 1. The very first trial is what these text messages are from. They don't really have bearing on trial number 2 because, and as was testified yesterday, they were about logistics. You had a voir dire, you had trial, you had people trying to get travel arrangements, figuring out when they needed them. And so he's like, you did that in 100 text messages? Like, yeah, it doesn't take long for 100 text messages to pile up when you're answering people, when you're going back and forth. It's just crazy. Oh, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to the R's. Oh my God. Did you see the go and look at what my, the name of this stream is. sawr. Jen McCabe sawr. Yeah, no, people in Massachusetts love their R's. R's. I don't get it, but yeah, I got it.
Of the
It's
conversations,
coming.
dozens and dozens of calls between the defense and the experts. It is difficult to believe that all of those text messages and all of those phone conversations dealt with simply logistics. In fact, we later learned during the questioning of Dr. Rensselaer, there is much more involved than simply logistics. But to get back to Dr. Wolf, he did not.
He didn't say anything. He never said that there was any. This guy just lies. I mean, he just straight up lies. It's crazy.
He was communicating and having conversations on Signal. How odd. An expert using Signal. Never used it before. Dr. Rensselaer said would not use Signal, never use Signal. But Signal, as we know, is an application that does not create a record of communications.
it doesn't keep the community. It does cover, there is a signal record of communications. However, as they testified yesterday, it's funny because one of the questions that Alessi asked yesterday was, hey, did you know that the reason we use Signal was because the defense's phones were supposedly wanting, that there was actually the prosecution actually in a different case, in one of the Turtle Boy cases, actually asked for the phone records of the defense of Karen Reed. They actually put in a motion. They wanted the phone records of the defense. I mean, Massachusetts is a completely screwed up place.
Dr. Wolf maintained on a direct that everything he did was logistics, even when we showed him the direct examinations with comments that asked for input from the defense to questions in a way that would be advantageous to the defense and to thwart the Commonwealth. Dr. Wolf.
He never, that's a lie. That's actually a lie. That's not what he testified to.
Never admitting the fact that there was, in fact, conversations or information exchange about bettering the presentation for the defense. Inevitably, I asked him about the sequestration order and how evasive he was. You simply have to compare him to Dr. Rentschler, who was quite candid. An hour or 45 minutes with Dr. Wolf. Difficult getting a straight answer. Dr. Rentschler told us more in 5 minutes than Dr. Wolf told us his entire examination. And what we unfortunately learned is that during the trial,
you were just limited.
When this court had a sequestration order, information was being passed to the experts about witness testimony, in this case, unknown to the Commonwealth, unknown to the court, information, particular information, not general information, witness testimony, issues in the case. We have no idea who is deciding or identifying the issues and who the advantage is given to in describing those issues. But that is witnesses being prepped through an intermediary. So we know the Department of Justice, at least, is violating the order, helping the witnesses along.
The feds, man, they're bad.
We know they know about it.
Unbeknownst to the Commonwealth that they have this information, but obviously is reflected in the testimony. In addition, I provided some clips to Your Honor for review.
Yes, do you want me to mark these as an exhibit?
I do.
Okay, so this was an exhibit from yesterday.
So I guess he's got some clips
I did have
of
the opportunity to look at them.
I suggest that the relationship was not resigned to mere logistics. And so from that subterfuge, what we stand with today is that we know.
So he's basically accusing not only the ARCA witnesses of illegally collaborating with the defense, collusion. They were doing collusion. So he is accusing them of lying about what the text messages were for. He's accusing them of subterfuge, of them, helping the defense. He's claiming that there's no way that all those texts could have been about logistics. I mean, he's just, and with no evidence. The guy has zero evidence of this. I mean, Wolf on the stand yesterday was pretty much unbreakable. And then these guys have pulled trick after trick after trick after trick with the evidence. But of course, it's, now they're upset, and Bev is ridiculous.
That the witnesses were well prepared. We know that there was not true independence. And what we know is that they are refusing to provide the necessary information to support their original opinions that they gave at the first trial. They cited that it was a protective order. Perhaps it is. That has nothing to do with the issue. By calling the ARCA witnesses as their witnesses, they then have the obligation to comply with Rule 14.
Yeah.
Unlike the first trial.
There's no evidence at all. There's just speculation, emotion, and
The Commonwealth had no ability to do any testing, review, vet the reliability of the information, properly prepare for cross-examination. This trial, that should not occur just because it happened last trial. And the Commonwealth was disadvantaged does not mean it should happen this trial. And that is precisely why I began moving for discovery in this case early on. Inevitably, if these witnesses cannot provide information because under a protective order, it may not be the defendant's fault in its inception, but it is their problem and difficulty because they chose to hire the ARCA witnesses. They could have chosen any witnesses they want. Rule 14 is not obviated because they made a strategic decision to call the ARCA witnesses.
No.
So now going into
she's a mess. She is. That's like no other court ever. And there was, just to go on a little tangent about Bev today too, was listening to Betterow saying that when somebody makes an objection It is the judge's responsibility to make a legal decision about that objection. Like, she already doesn't allow you to say what you're objecting to, what your objection is. Is it hearsay? Is it leading? Is it, she gets to guess why you're making that objection. Most of the time, especially when the defense is up there, it's either sustained. Most of the time, it's sustained. When it's the defense doing the objecting, instead of making a legal ruling on the objection, she asks the person or the witness on the stand to make a factual decision or a factual judgment. Did you really get on that bus? Objection. Instead of saying sustained or overruled, she'll go, did you get on that bus? Like, that's not the way you do that. You're not making an actual decision on the objection. You're letting the witness decide whether or not, I don't remember. And somebody says, I don't remember, or objection. And it's like, well, is that what you said? Or, anyway, it's so frustrating. I can see if I was a lawyer, I would be pulling my hair out. Because is that really what you said? Can you answer the question? It's like, make a decision, overrule or sustained. Don't do this weird. Is that what you said? Is that what? It's
into
so
this trial,
freaking
even Dr.
ridiculous.
Rexler admitted that an expert should have time, in their opinion, a month or more, to review the raw materials. It's not enough simply to have a report, as Attorney Lisi
No, to
preached
review
during
your
his argument.
expert's track.
We should have the opportunity to go through the raw data, the history,
Takes
the
a month
video,
more.
determine whether there's any failed testing. We don't have that benefit. And so my position has changed, that those early opinions should not come in because we have no ability to fairly cross-examine. As for the new opinions, the report may not be done until May 7th. We are in the middle of trial. Concedingly by the defense, or at least their witnesses, it takes a month to go through the discovery. When I filed my motion on the eve of trial that we would be unable to prepare.
It's funny because he'll throw these dates out too. It's like, oh, well, we told them in October and then we, gave them this report in January or February. And Alicia's laid it out. You didn't give them a report. You gave them a 1-page summary of what you were going to do. Then when you gave them a report, it wasn't the report and it wasn't the data. It was a PowerPoint. Here's this PowerPoint that they said was just completely disjointed. It didn't even really explain what their conclusion was. And so that's what they're going to rely on to go after, prove through data and science that John O'Keefe was hit by a car. So they finally got the actual underlying information in March. This is the prosecution. It is the prosecution's. They have to prove their theory of the case without reasonable doubt. They have to prove that Karen Reed backed into John O'Keefe. That is what they have to do. And so the defense does not have to prove that she didn't. They don't even have to prove their conspiracy. They just have to establish enough reasonable doubt that it could have happened. So, all right.
We want to continue in this case. I appreciate why this case wasn't continued. But I knew, given our scheduling, our experts will not be able to look at this material. Our expert is away until after the first week of.
So the Commonwealth does all this testing and says, this is what we believe. They give it to finally give them the underlying data in March. ARCA is testing it and will have their report and their work done on May 7th. But Hank's worried because they don't have time enough. Now, this is the crazy part. This is the blow your mind stupidity. Hank is upset because they don't have enough time to debunk the opinions of the experts that were hired to debunk their expert. So it's like is there just an infinity wheel of debunking that needs to go on? It's like you put forth your data and science that said that this happened. We have experts that say no, it didn't because of this, but you now are mad because you don't have a chance to review you have a chance to review it, but it's too late to say why your expert is all wet. So
But that sounds like your fault because he chose him.
Shortly after, he will have no ability to digest this enormous amount of materials, vet whether it's accurate or not, conduct tests to combat it if he thinks that it's inaccurate or unfair. And so the discovery violations, regardless of the state of mind, are upon the defendant. There is no exception that you used ARCA witnesses. There is no exception that you hired somebody that used to be under a federal protective order. They chose them, and I would suggest it seems strategically. When we noticed we'd have new experts in October, the defense from past experience, and probably
there we go.
but we know
There's the October thing.
from this case, knows the process. They would have to file a TUI letter and wait for a response. And yet they waited until February to seek permission, which then extended their permission past February into March. And then they didn't even start the review until late March. And so it's fundamentally unfair. We should not be placing
Because they didn't have the data, you dummy.
the position of cross-examining experts without the fair ability as any participant, defendant, Commonwealth, any participant would have in a case to consider and then to rebut. And so for that reason, I ask you to exclude both the new opinions and new testing, and also to exclude the earlier opinions that we will never at this point receive the proper discovery with to prepare.
All right, thank you.
You don't get it. Suck it up because it's underneath a protective order and you don't get it. You could have had the report, but you didn't want the report because it said that your theory of the case was stupid.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to go to regular speed because this is, Robert Alessi from New York is this guy's got just freaking balls too. He's 67 years old. This guy does not look 67. Okay. So she said, I only have one question for you. And his answer just is freaking genius.
Mr. Lassie, I only have one question for you. So would you stand, please? You're arguing this, right? This was your motion. So my question is, how do I reconcile the fact that 100 text messages were deleted by counsel? And we heard yesterday counsel's preferred method of dealing with Dr. Wolf was via signal.
Listen to that.
Of dealing with and
listen to what she says. This is completely not what the evidence said yesterday. This was not the testimony. This was not the evidence. This chick just made this shit up.
Yesterday, counsel's preferred method of dealing with Dr. Wolf was via signal.
They had like 3 conversations through Signal when they thought that their phones were potentially going to get compromised to the prosecution. 3 conversations. She has now said that the preferred communication process for the prosecution was through Signal. That is completely 100% constructed from nothing. She constructed that in her own mind. This is the level of, just basically downright corruption that we're dealing with this woman. She just makes this stuff up.
How do we reconcile that with the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct 1.15?
All right, this is very important. How do we reconcile this with these professional conduct rules 1.15? This answer is the ballsiest answer. I don't think she was expecting this answer, to be honest.
Now we're switching. It's 1.15A.
reconcile that, where all correspondence related to the matter, whether in physical or electronic form, must be saved for 10 years minimum.
Because that's
How
not
do
a
you
discovery
reconcile that?
rule.
How do I
for the client's
reconcile that?
benefit.
Should I go to the podium?
Right there, and I expect a short answer.
The short answer, Your Honor, is the rule that you're citing has absolutely no applicability to this proceeding for this. Can I finish my answer, Your Honor?
Right ahead.
I wish, oh God, I wish the camera would have stayed on her, because you could see she immediately went to either interrupt him or get mad about that. You could see, because he said, "Can I finish my answer?" You know, when he said, "Can I finish my answer?" that there was either a gasp, an exasperation, an attempt to cut him off. But his answer was, that rule that you just cited has no applicability in this matter whatsoever. Let's just go back, because this is, I wish they would have stayed.
How do I reconcile that?
Should I go to the podium?
Right there, and I expect a short answer.
The short answer, Your Honor, is the rule that you're citing has absolutely no applicability to this proceeding for this. Can I finish my answer, Your Honor?
Right ahead.
Can I finish my answer? You could tell that she was about to either go off but that answer, that this is not applicable. Now, here's the finish of his answer too, which is freaking crazy.
Absolutely no applicability to this proceeding for this. Can I finish my answer, Your Honor?
Right ahead.
Has no applicability. That rule is intended to be between an attorney and the client.
Yep.
The court has no jurisdiction to enforce that rule.
I agree. That's a different body, but I'm asking you how I reconcile that when I'm trying to figure this out. Mr. Lessie, you know what? You're going to win this, so why don't you just let me make my ruling, okay?
Now. Now, the reason you know that this guy is legit smart, and I don't know if they teach this in law school or not, but when you hear the judge say, "You are going to win," you sit down and shut up. You just don't say anything else. Attorneys like to argue. Don't argue your way out of a win. Now, I realize that she's mad that she has to do this. She doesn't want to do this. But she got freaking hammered right there. She got hammered.
Has no applicability. That rule is intended to be between an attorney and the client.
Yep.
The court has no jurisdiction to enforce that rule.
I agree. That's a different body, but I'm asking you how I reconcile that when I'm trying to figure this out. Mr. Lessie, you know what? You're going to win this, so why don't you just let me make my ruling, okay?
You're going to win this.
Immediately, the head bob. Watch the head bob. Watch it. Watch this head bob.
You're going to win this, so why don't you just let me make my ruling, okay?
I wonder if he's ever sat down quicker. I wonder if he's ever plopped his butt into a seat faster than he just did just now, because that was quick. That was like raindrop quick. Yep. Why is she mad that he won? Yeah. Why? Oh no. Yeah. What? The Sally Port videos, the new Sally Port videos, the new 180 pages of text messages and phone calls that just after. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, why? The grave concern. I have grave concerns about this. We've had no grave concerns about the litany, the DNA testing. I'll go all the way back to the first trial and the first evidentiary hearings and all of the Rule 14 and discovery violations that the prosecution has done throughout this case. And she's never once had a grave concern about any of it. Oh, yeah. No, yes.
We're going to win this. I understand there have been repeated violations.
Of course. Yeah, repeated violations by the defense, not by any, come on.
Reciprocal discovery orders and my orders, repeated and deliberate. But, Mr. Brennan, I understand completely the Commonwealth's argument, completely the ambush that has been set upon.
The ambush that has been set upon you, Mr. Brennan. Oh, yeah, exactly. The snowblowers. What? Yeah, the leaf blowers and the paper bags and the evidence just right there next to the car. And I mean, oh yeah.
The Commonwealth's
I missed
argument.
that. I missed that trial. I'm hoping that we get some of that in this trial. We haven't seen it so far. This trial has been maddening.
Completely the ambush that has been set upon here. However, a defendant's right to a fair trial is paramount to everything. So I'm going to allow the ACCA witnesses to testify. I am going to allow what I expect to be a very robust cross-examination.
So she's going to give Brennan what she said just there, a very brisk cross-examination. She is going to give him a lot longer leash than she normally would for somebody to cross-examine. She is going to, and now Brendan's got to be careful because, let me see if did I still have any of that up? Day 7. That's Jen from yesterday. I guess it was day 5. This guy, Rentschler, he's a professional engineer type. This guy is smooth. All right. Dr. Wolf is central casting expert witness. Go back to normal. Brennan tried to get him on the defensive yesterday, and he did not. Yeah, this is him yelling. I mean, this is him getting. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. All right. Thank you.
For my analysis.
Sorry, I was not sharing the right screen. Again, gosh darn it.
I wanted to make sure the jury understood that.
Dr. Wolf is this guy. This guy is central casting good.
It was more or less to make sure the jury had an understanding that because I didn't physically inspect the vehicle, it did not matter for my analysis, sir. I wanted to make sure the jury understood that.
Don't hide behind the jury. I'm talking about your communications with the defense. I'm asking you specifically about your conversations with the defense.
He is trying to get him riled up. He's only getting himself riled up.
Alessi is trying to yell.
Defer to them. The reason for that comment is a few reasons, sir.
Let me read it and then you can give any explanation you want.
Hold on. Question, Mr. Brennan,
You
and
said-
then you answer, Dr. Wolf.
You said, if you don't want me to say this, that's fine. Are those your words?
Yes.
Yep.
Allow me to explain.
No, he's probably not
for
gonna.
one, I want the jury to have an understanding, again, the jury to have an understanding of my background in lighting and human factors and how it relates.
The ones that were produced, but not things that were lost or destroyed or deleted, correct?
Again, there are records, even though the physical texts aren't there, there's certainly records of the calls, incoming, outgoing, as well as texts.
Would
get any understanding from
then we wouldn't be here on the back
See
foot.
what else we got?
Didn't you?
No, because again, our report was already solidified, so it didn't change my opinion in any way.
Well, not about whether it changed your opinion. You testified about DNA, didn't you?
I don't believe that I did, no.
I'm going to approach, if I may, Your Honor. Okay. This is your outline with your comments. You recognize this?
Yes.
As an expert, there's no ability to really vet the reliability of your first experiments that led to your testimony in trial 1, is there?
I think you might be confused. Again, our role for...
Right there. I think you might be confused. See, I mean, Brennan tried everything he could to get
really
this guy.
Vet the reliability of your
Tried
first
and
experiments
tried
that led
and
to
tried.
your
Get
testimony
him
in trial
on
1,
on the defense.
I think you might be confused. Again, our role for this round...
I don't think I'm confused.
Again, our role for this round...
Testimony in trial 1, is there?
I think you might be confused. Again, our role for this round...
I don't think I am. I don't think I'm confused. I'm talking about trial 1.
Right.
You had a 12-page report.
I'm going to back this up just a minute.
No video.
Look, I am dying. A lot of judges might not have allowed ARCA in had Brennan done the voir dire of ARCA the first time.
Right.
Had Brennan done the voir dire,
she got a good point,
of ARCA the first time, this not being turned over might have been the thing where the court kept ARCA out. ARCA allowed them in the first time based just on that report and a voir dire, no other underlying information. I think that's in part because of Lally's questioning. I think if we had gotten to this questioning, the court might have said, you know what? We're not allowing this in. You don't have the raw data. But now we're getting to, yes, that didn't happen in the first trial. I don't know why we're going over the first trial, because this is a voir dire about discovery issues leading up to the second trial.
But she says that, but they're complaining about text messages that were deleted from the first trial. So everybody's confused about this freaking thing. Oh my God. All right. So now we have St. John, and so we need to let's go look at some of yesterday's testimony. So here we go. Let's go back because we have St. McCabe of the clan, or St. John of the clan McCabe. St. John. I mean, she's got her giant crucifix on her neck. She's got her spray tan and her tooth fixed. So, yeah, I am going to turn this on and then I'm going to run and do something real quick and I'll be back. But let's just enjoy a little bit of St. John. Let's see, what did we get yesterday? Jen, Tom Beatty. Let's try this because this might be
okay, well, if she brought him there and left him there, where was he? Because he never came in the house and she doesn't know where he is. So now where could he be? So I started thinking there was another gentleman that was supposed to meet us out at the bar who John was friends with. So I thought, okay, well, in my head, I'm thinking maybe they got into a fight. John got out of the car and he connected with this guy because he was at a party on the street.
What was that person's
name? His name is Tom Beatty.
What?
Did you call him?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to speak to him that night?
That morning?
Yes.
No.
What?
Did you call around anywhere else?
I believe I called my sister. I called John. I called Tom Beatty. I called his daughter.
What?
You called John O'Keefe's phone?
Yes.
Did he answer?
No.
Did it go right to voicemail?
I don't remember.
Did you text anybody?
Yeah, Chad, I'm with you.
I honestly don't remember if I texted. I primarily think I was just trying to call as many people
Look,
as I could.
anything that's new to us is not new
and try
to this
figure
jury.
out what
So
happened.
So you had two conversations.
Cross is going to be
at this
interesting.
point with the defendant while you were still home.
Yes.
Was there any further?
Really? All right.
Was there any
So
further
what's
phone?
funny is she mentioned Tom Beatty because it don't don't claim McCabe. It's true. This is true. Well, you know, I she's saintly now, so. In fact, I was going to we need to add her to the thumbnail. It's time to get the thumbnail going a little bit, so let's try and figure that out here in a little bit. But so Tom Beatty was actually like she mentioned Tom Beatty's daughter, and like supposedly Colin Albert texted Tom Beatty's daughter that night at like 12:30 looking for a ride. Well, if he texted her at 12:30 looking for a ride, then that's outside the time of when she supposedly was where she was supposed to be. You know, he was supposed to have been gone way before 12:30, but so basically she had mentioned that, and it turned out Jen McCabe had told her that she needed to keep her mouth shut or some stuff like that. So there's some definite history there with the Beatty family. So I don't know that she wants to bring them into this. But I guess we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they did that. Maybe they did that on purpose. I don't know. Let's see. Can I get into here? All right, hang on one second. Trying to get into my X account. And like I said, I got a new computer. So of course, you got to follow the stuff. All right. The whole two-factor authentication. So there was a couple of funny things, or let's see. I did grab a couple of. This was great from today. So on the cross-examination today, she was asked about, because, you know, she said that, oh, Karen definitely said, I hit him 3 times. So let's see what, let's see what she asked, what this was.
Ms. McCabe, turn to the page or pages in that transcript where you recount to the grand jurors that my client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
This is over 227 pages.
Take your time.
How long did you say it was, Ms. McCabe?
227.
You probably.
I'm not going to let her read 227 pages.
You said, take your time. When she said, well, this is 227 pages. Turn to the page in here where it says that you told the grand jury, my client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Well, this is 227 pages. Take your time. Oh my God. That was a brilliant moment right there. One, because, and he went through it. He went through it and showed that time after time after time, the question to the, and she said that, well, I didn't get asked about it, but time after time after time, the question from the grand jury was, what did you hear my client say? Or what did you hear the defendant say? What did she say? What did you hear? Time after time after time, she was asked that question. What did you hear? And she said nothing about I hit him until way later on. Even the part, I mean, oh my gosh, like the part today about her talking to Sergeant Good. I called him back, and then in his report, he said that that Jen said that she even asked a question about did I hit him? Could I have hit him? You know, that whole thing. And nowhere in anybody's report has she told any officer, the grand jury, she has never once been memorialized in a report on video or anything saying that Karen Reed said, I hit him. Never, not once. So this was another one. Let me show this one. This was Nuttall. This was Nuttall from the first day.
To me, I heard.
This was 2024 versus 2025.
And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him. 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 Right. To me, I heard I hit him. I hit him. And then I remember I hit him. I hit him. I hit him. And there was one.
You know. Oh, yeah, no, I remember I hit him. Last year he said, I hit him. Which one is it? Oh. And yeah, there was some craziness. Then today, I don't remember if it was Andrew. Somebody made the distinction too that last year's trial we had the law enforcement early. Like we had law enforcement and first responders early in the trial. And so we had their reports were all in evidence, and so a lot of the especially the first responders like Good and Link and the Canton first responders, the Canton cops specifically, they were early in last year. This year, Jen McCabe is like, the fifth witness or whatever. So there's not as much in evidence yet that you can use to impeach her. So you got to try and get some of this stuff in evidence. And so it's a slog. It's really hard. And so, yeah, it's, but we did find out some interesting things today about, especially I wanted to talk about the federal investigation. And let's see if I can find that. Oh yeah, the FBI. So we're gonna watch Emily because she is the best. So hopefully I don't get channel struck. I am doing this. This should be covered under fair use because I am making much of commentary about it. But so last trial, it came out in interviews and stuff with jury members afterwards that they realized that especially the ARCA investigation, that there was a separate investigation and the ARCA witnesses were not hired by the prosecution or the defense. They were a completely third-party thing. Throughout the trial, you also heard about another, investigation or another matter or other agency looking into this, but it was very vague. And you gave testimony at this grand jury or you gave testimony to these people. It seems like that they're trying a little harder to get it in that there was a federal like FBI investigation. And so one of the things is you can't say, one of the words when you're talking about the federal investigation is you can't say agents. when you're talking about people from the other, and you'll see here in a minute, because there was a objection and they said rephrase it, and he said, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to say other law enforcement people, or other so we find out a little bit more about Jen McCabe and her initial correspondence with the FBI, and it's actually kind of funny. So here we go. Okay, so let's go back here, because I'll be right back. Why is it not sharing? Oh,
knowing friends of friends.
I'm glad that
it went off the screen.
Chris and
all right, here we go.
Correct?
Yeah.
Knowing friends of Christianship?
I'll ask you a different question. A little bit vague. Courtney Proctor is
we're gonna
friends
just keep
with
rolling on.
and Chris, correct?
All right, let's get there.
Kevin Albert, is that right?
Kevin Albert's brother.
Right, and Kevin works for whom? Or otherwise, correct?
Yes.
It's been over the period of weeks and months. Any contact that was not Massachusetts State Police.
Okay, so here we go. Getting into the next
contacted
part of
by
this.
It's been a while.
Another law enforcement agency that was not Massachusetts State Police and not Canton Police Department at one point in April of 2023. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I want to talk for a second about that series of interview, or that interview.
The prosecution did ask about the Google searches. They did. So
you were contacted at your residence by
it was
these
quick, though.
Members of this law enforcement agency, correct?
Yes.
All right. Later that same day, you did sit down with those same law enforcement officers.
This is hilarious.
We're not
for a
there yet.
formal interview.
With the FBI.
On that same day that you were contacted by them, they also went into your home and actually interviewed you, correct?
Yes, it was brief.
This is troopers.
Those law enforcement officers identified themselves as being associated with an agency that is not Massachusetts State Police. You understood that.
Different.
Yes.
You're
and
right.
You understood that they were not involved
FBI.
with Canton Police Department either, correct?
Correct.
Completely separate agency, is that right?
Yes.
During the course of that interview, those officers informed you very specifically, Ms. McCabe, that it is a crime
I got lost in
to
time.
lie to them, even during an interview, correct?
She qualifies this a bunch of times too. You'll hear her say something, oh, it was brief, or it was this, or she tries to like make it so it's not as important as it actually is.
Correct?
Yes.
Ask Sherry Papini.
Those law enforcement officers informed you that they were investigating certain circumstances attendant to John O'Keefe's death, correct?
He was very careful with that.
They were very vague on what they were.
Understood.
I don't know what they were investigating.
But you did understand that it was having something to do with your involvement at 34 Fairview on January 28th, 29th, 2022. As a witness or otherwise?
That's an
Sustained as to
the
certain
phrasing.
terminology.
The phrasing on that.
Sure. Let me see if I can rephrase that.
Yeah, the phrasing on that.
You were aware of the subject
Tough.
matter of their interview, right? They weren't interviewing about a car you bought last year, correct?
Correct.
They were interviewing you basically about what you're testifying to here, correct?
When I first spoke with them, the conversation was pretty vague.
But the subject matter, vague or
So she is good at not answering any questions. That's what she's really good at, is not actually answering questions.
or specific was about this subject matter.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
About what happened
Finally.
at 34 Fairview. Just They were asking
They
you
first
questions about what
contacted you
happened at 34 Fairview and after.
They called you on the phone. Is that right?
Actually, they walked up to my car.
They walked up to your car?
Yes.
Okay, that was the very first introduction, correct?
Yes.
At that point, they had not identified themselves, correct?
Hi, ma'am. We've been
All right,
following
and
you.
At that point, you told them that you were not Jennifer McCabe. They asked you who you were, and you said, I'm Nicole.
I thought they were like selling.
She told the FBI. The FBI walked up. They didn't identify themselves, but the FBI walked up to him and said, "Are you Jen McCabe?" And she's like, "No, I am Nicole."
I'm going to back that up because what? What? This is new.
I thought she was.
Is that right?
Actually,
we backed up
they
a minute.
walked up to my car.
They walked up to your car?
Yes.
Okay, that was the very first introduction, correct?
Yes.
At that point, they had not identified themselves, correct?
They didn't know.
All right, and at that point, you told them that you were not Jennifer McCabe. They asked you who you were, and you said, I'm Nicole.
I thought they were like selling something.
No, don't
so I was
explain.
like, oh, no.
I thought they were like Amway or sales. I mean, do Amway people even go up to your door? So like maybe they had a Kirby vacuum. Like I thought maybe they wanted to dump some stuff, like some dirt on my floor and show me how quickly that the Kirby would clean it up. Or maybe they were a Cutco. They might have had knives. I think they might have had kitchen knives, and they were from Cutco, and they wanted to come do a demonstration on how great their knives were.
I'm not the homeowner.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Don't explain,
however,
just answer.
After you said, I'm not Jennifer McCabe, you walked into the house, they then called you on the phone.
Yes,
They were
correct.
still sitting outside your house.
I don't know where they were, but they did call me.
The qualifications here, like I think one of the things that she went through for the last trial was the obfuscation angle that she's playing. Like if she doesn't know the exact answer, she is taking everything at a completely literal sense, right? She went in the house. She immediately gets called by the same people. Well, they called you from right outside your house. Well, I don't know exactly where they were. Well, if they just were outside your house and they called you immediately after you went in the house, you could deduce that they were still sitting outside your house, but you are not going to answer the way that, you're basically going to try and answer every question not the way that he's not going to be able to elicit the answer that even if in some of the obvious questions, she just completely answers a different question. I mean, it's crazy.
They were close by.
I'm not aware.
Well,
so they drove 2 hours away, but they called.
Call came almost immediately after you walked back.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she knows where they're parked.
I'm not sure how much time had passed.
Give me an idea. It wasn't an hour. It was
No, it was
5 to 10
soon
minutes.
after. I'm just not sure. I can't tell you where they were located. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She remembers all these different details so clearly, except for the details that are bad. Then she doesn't remember anything. I don't remember.
They told you that they would, at that point, they identified themselves as being law enforcement agents, correct?
When they called me, yes.
And they told you at that time that they
Law enforcement agents. He got one by right there. I didn't even realize that. He got one by there. Agents. He said the word agents.
were not with Canton Police. You knew at least they were not with Canton Police Department. They were not troopers with Massachusetts State Police, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
This is all new. I think Jackson's being pretty careful with it. But if somebody walked up to my car and was like, hey, do you live here? What are you going to tell them? They don't identify yourself. You don't know who they are. They walk up to your car and go, hey, do you live here? Nope. Sure don't. Just visiting for, I'm not. Nope. You don't have a jacket on. You don't have a badge on. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
No.
Wearing a suit.
Nope. Not nope. No, I don't live here. I'm just visiting.
All right.
Didn't identify themselves. Assuming is now, well, they were right outside. And she's like, I don't know.
And they told you that they would like to.
We heard none of this last time.
And they told you that they would like to have an interview with you. They'd like to have a sit-down talk with you, correct?
Yes.
You told them that you would be willing to submit to an interview, but you needed about 10 minutes to get.
This part is crazy. All right. We think this is all, I mean, this is new information, but this is how you really endear yourself to the FBI.
Ready, correct?
Yes.
You ultimately did allow them into your home, and you did sit down for a formal interview with them, correct?
I'm interested if he's going to ask her why. You needed about 10 minutes. Yeah, I just got home. I had to pee. I needed a minute. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Not what you think, Emily.
Yes, brief, but yes.
And it was during that formal interview inside the home that it was explained to you that it would be a crime for you to lie to them on any material issue, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
During the course of your interview, your husband, Matt McCabe, came home. Is that right?
Yes.
As these law enforcement agents continue to question you, as law enforcement officers continue to question you.
Did you call Matt?
You inform them.
Yeah, he slipped another one in. He slipped an agent in.
Question you. As law enforcement officers continue to. As these law enforcement agents continue to question you.
He slipped
as law
it in
enforcement
again.
officers continue to question you.
Did you call Matt?
You inform them that you did not feel comfortable with any further questioning and you suspended the interview, correct?
Yes.
Why would you not feel comfortable? Maybe because they were getting too
Before
close
leaving,
to the
however,
truth.
those same law enforcement officers asked you if you had contacted anyone in those 10 minutes when you indicated, I need 10 minutes to get ready. Between
did
the
you
time they
call,
called you
Jen?
and the time that they showed up and came inside your house, correct?
Yes.
You told them that you had contacted your husband, Matt McCabe.
Yes.
Which is why he came home, right?
Yes.
And you told them that you had called Carrie Roberts before they interviewed you, correct?
What now?
At that moment.
What now?
I'm not 100% sure, but if you.
I'm not 100% sure. But, and then this is another trick that she does. She basically says, I need to see that. I need to read that. I need to see that. So this is a control thing where she says, I want to see that. Show me where that. Yeah.
Do you have it? It seems like something I would do, but if you have it,
what
you
now?
Show me.
Absolutely.
Chat.
Okay.
You can them come knocking. We're here. I will speak to you. But I'm an attorney, so I'm not going to judge people by that. But calling Carrie just tracks with everything else we've seen in this case, doesn't it?
It appears to be, yes.
May I approach the witness stand and stand by the witness stand for a couple of questions?
Yes.
If I can have that.
Sure.
I want to direct your attention, if I may, for court and counsel, page 3 of 4, starting second to the last full paragraph, going into page 5, top full paragraph. I'm sorry, page 4, top full paragraph.
Okay.
And then let me know when you're finished.
Well, now I'm very
reading. She's reading the whole document. Not just reading what he asked her to. She is reading the whole thing.
We don't. I see a lot of questions about why
The FBI
is involved. We a federal grant to
love
this
her
case in the
FBI
invest.
thing.
John O'Keefe with a call. It is very unlikely.
She is reading the entire document.
Went.
Oh,
there
she
was
is
a
not
very
happy either.
long
That is
federal
not a
grand
happy
jury.
face.
A lot of these
Put on
individuals
a happy
went to federal grand jury. We have
face.
been
That's not a happy
told
face.
that the federal
Not a happy face.
case is closed,
In
but that
reviewing those
is
paragraphs, refresh your
that has come from third parties because is it
what you told those agents in
so
agent? She slipped an agent in.
as to whether or not as to what you told those agents initially. I'm sorry, what you told those officers initially from that other law enforcement agency.
The most.
That about who you contacted in that 10-minute interval.
Yes, I told them.
And you told them that you had contacted your husband, Matt McCabe,
Yes.
Matt
and
McCabe.
Carrie Roberts.
And Carrie Roberts.
I want to stick with that for just a quick second. One of the first calls you made after being contacted by these other law enforcement officers from a different agency, one of the first calls you made was to Carrie Roberts. Is that right?
Yep.
She was the first one.
That's what I'm asking. One of the first 2 calls you made, your husband,
Right.
come home, there's law enforcement outside my door, I'm guessing is what you said, correct?
I don't remember my exact words
Is he
now, but I
telling
did
you,
ask
or are
him
you
to come
telling
home.
us?
Correct.
And
Yes.
Carrie Roberts.
Okay. Yes.
You wanted to let
Okay.
Ms. Roberts know that you had been contacted by certain officers from a different agency, correct?
I was curious if they had already been to her.
That was
Because-
that was my next
Oh,
question.
yeah.
You also wanted to find out had these
Oh, 100%. 100%. Carrie, the FBI's here. Did they talk to you? What did they ask you? What do they want to talk?
from this different agency contacted her, correct?
Yes, because typically if
I
you
just
enter
asked
our
yes or no.
town, she's.
Ms. McCabe, yes or no?
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to
That's
explain.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Is that why you contacted her, to find out if in fact they had contacted her before you? Yes or no?
Yes.
And you also wanted to find out
Oh, boy.
what she told them, if she had been contacted by them, correct? That was your motive in calling her.
No.
So you just wanted to
No,
find
of
out
course not.
had she been contacted.
Alan,
But if
you call it motive and she's going to get defensive. But if you ask her, what were they asking about? Did you know what her answers with? Bring it back around.
she had said yes, you weren't going to say, and what the hell did they say? What did they ask you?
Well, I can't say what I would have answered, what I would have asked her, but I know I was calling to see if they had been there. Yes, that
was
is
your
correct.
that was your intent, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we find out.
Your motive in calling
If you just
Carrie Roberts
gossip with
at that
her,
point
get to
would
the
lie.
thing.
You wanted to find out if she had, so that you're.
All right, let's get.
Have a story. There is.
You have no reason to call Carrie.
That's why you don't deny calling for the cheese.
We're going through this whole experience together. We our house. That's what we just give each other the.
We just give each other the heads up. Right. If you gossip with her, it's going to be babe. They have that head.
In making sure that the story.
I love it. She's just a normal soccer mom. I'm just a normal soccer mom.
Are consistent with the stories you tell.
Stories.
So let her finish.
And if in fact what we were telling you was just the truth, there would be no reason for you to inquire about who's contacted her.
There's no inquiring. It's like when you're when the ice cream truck
love
was
this.
at the street next door, and I'm saying, did the ice cream truck come? It's really.
You're going to compare the FBI showing up at your house. You're going to compare it to the ice cream truck. When you call your friends and you say, hey, the ice cream truck came by. Have you seen it? Hey, the FBI came by. Have you seen them? That is two completely separate things. The FBI and ice cream trucks have zero comparison. None. Not at all.
Really that simple.
So.
Oh, that's her answer to your question, AJ. You can't.
She responded.
She responded. Yep. She's saying that they are the neighborhood watch and that they are calling about on that line of questioning. Keep dibs on everything at the mark.
So
of what everybody.
Ms. Roberts, for just a second. You also testified in your direct examination, staying with Ms. Roberts for just a second, about a timeline that you and Ms. Roberts put together. Correct?
Yes.
That's another
Okay,
example.
so now we
of
get
the
to
two
who
of you.
else. So what else that she said? All right, so let's
You
see.
ultimately called these officers back, correct?
Yes.
And you explained to them that you had been untruthful with them, correct?
I explained that I had forgotten.
Okay, so let's run this down. All right, hang on. Let's get this and then let's run this thought process down.
Forgotten to mention.
Full with them, correct?
I explained that I had forgotten to mention a couple.
So he basically said you called these officers back later that evening, right?
Back, correct? May I?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. You ultimately called these officers back, correct?
Yes.
And you explained to them that you had been untruthful with them, correct?
I explained that I had forgotten to mention a couple of people that I had reached out to.
A couple?
You had forgotten.
A couple.
Is that your testimony?
Yes.
You had forgotten. You remembered Matt and you remembered Carrie, but you had forgotten the others that you had just contacted maybe 30 minutes before.
Yes.
There were.
If you're the jury, are you buying this? You get officers that show up to your house. They ask you, you say, give me 10 minutes. You go in and you make phone calls. They say, okay, who did you call? You say, I called my husband and I called Carrie Roberts. I called 2 people. Then, I mean, did she not realize that this is the FBI? They're going to have your phone records. They're going to know exactly who you called. They're going to be able to look at your phone records. And that's ultimately why she had to call them back, because her husband said, wait, you lied to them? You lied to the FBI and told them that you didn't call somebody? You know, you didn't tell them exactly who you called? Now, the list of who she called is like, holy crap. But still, oh, I forgot. You did not forget who you called. It's on your phone. The record is on your phone, unless you deleted it. It's on your phone. You can look at your call log and say, who did I call? Oh, yeah, I called who did I call? Let's see who
did they not
called.
answer?
5 people that you contacted, weren't there?
I contacted Matt.
Let's go through them. I'm
Yeah.
just yes or no.
5?
No, 4 off the top of my head.
Okay, let's go through them.
Okay.
Look.
I forgot.
Contact.
I told him the 2 people, but I really contacted 5, but I forgot the other 3 because I was so flustered that the FBI was here. I mean, oh my God.
Your husband, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You contacted Carrie Roberts, correct?
Matt?
Yes.
Carrie?
You contacted Peggy O'Keefe, correct?
Yes.
So John O'Keefe's mom, hey, the FBI is here.
Then,
Peggy?
Mr. McCabe, you contacted the district attorney's office, correct?
My witness advocate.
The witness
district
advocate?
attorney's office.
My witness advocate who works for the district attorney's
Thank
office.
you, Ms. McCabe.
Yes.
The DA's office?
And then who else? Who else did she call on the top 5 list of people that you call when the FBI is at your house?
You also left out
Busy 10 minutes.
that you contacted Brian Albert himself.
What?
Correct?
You contacted the guy whose lawn John O'Keefe was found on when the FBI came sniffing around your house. That's who you called.
Yes, my brother-in-law.
For some reason.
And there's one of the equivocations. There's one of the explanations. Even if it's just quick, like she does this a lot. She deflects. She puts in these little things. Like, why does it, instead of just saying yes, she says, yes, my brother-in-law. Like, oh, but well, he's that whether he's your brother-in-law or not has no actual bearing on the case. It just doesn't. It doesn't really mean anything. So, brother-in-law or not, it's not relevant to it. So I don't know. Brian Albert. She called Brian freaking Albert.
Albert himself.
What?
Also left out.
Busy 10 minutes.
That you contacted Brian Albert himself.
What?
Correct?
Emily's reaction.
Yes, my brother-in-law.
For some reason, your brother-in-law, who's the 30-year Boston police detective, correct?
Yes.
And on whose lawn John O'Keefe was found dead or dying. Objection.
Girl.
Correct?
Yes.
Holy shit.
It just gets crazier. I mean, yeah.
I'm really interested if she had conversations with all of them or if they didn't answer. But who else did you contact? I think implies Oh, I called Brian Albert, but he didn't answer. Oh, I called the DA's office, but he didn't answer. It's a lot of phone calls in 10 minutes. She's like, I didn't brush my teeth. That's not the problem. You hit everyone in your favorites.
Let me brush my teeth.
Down the line. There's no way you forgot in 10 minutes.
Bingo. There is no way that you forgot who you called. You didn't.
For some reason, you did not want these officers to know that you had communicated.
The jury just went
specifically with Brian Albert, the homeowner, just before you talked to them. Correct?
No, incorrect.
There was some reason that was important enough for you to lie about that, even though you had been admonished that it's a crime to lie about that to those officers. Correct?
Incorrect. I didn't lie to them. I had forgotten who I had called.
That is insane. That is absolutely insane.
And all of a sudden,
this is all goes to credibility on the stand.
You want me to believe.
Exactly. This all goes to credibility.
In 10 minutes, you forgot who you called and didn't tell them.
Mm-hmm.
When they asked you specifically, who did you call? And if you were
it's so
stressed
absurd. It is so
and
freaking
said,
absurd.
I contacted a few people. I'm not sure. You have a motherfucking phone. Do you know what it has in it? Your call log.
Maybe that's what I said, right?
Sure, agents. Let me look
at my call log
and tell you who I just called. Is why up. But when you do not exercise that option, I hear about
lying
this
to the FBI.
before.
I mean,
oh my God!
you had an epiphany right after they walked out the door?
Yes.
No, her husband came in and said, dead ass, I know you called other people. That's me speculating and being snarky.
I didn't lie to them.
Yes.
I had forgotten who I had called.
And all of a sudden, you had an epiphany right after they walked out the door?
Yes. Matt said, who have you spoken to?
Oh.
Objection.
I'm going to allow it. It's out.
She said it. The shit's out of the horse now. You're right, Your Honor.
Ms. McCabe, I want to draw your attention.
oh my God. So insane. All right. Last thing. We need to find a picture. We need to find a picture of, we can't say Saint, so we've got to say, what is like the opposite of, what is like is there a word for like a false saint or I guess false prophet? But let's see, we need a picture because we got to add Miss McCabe to the thumbnail. That's actually not a bad picture right there. This was the snaggletooth look from last year, but you can see snaggletooth has been fixed. Let's see how big is this picture? All right, so you know what? I will stop my share. And I'm going to share the whole screen. The big screen incoming. 48-inch monitor incoming right now. You can see all the crap I got open. And we got this picture of Jen McCabe. So let's see how big this picture is, if it's decent, if it'll work. And we're going to go to Karen Reed. And we'll go to day 7. And I need a new folder. I mean, I got, like I said, I got rid of the Logitech. I had a keyboard Logitech. I had a mouse Logitech. I had headphones Logitech. They're all in a box. I do not have G-Hub loaded on this computer. I will not load G-Hub on this computer. So, okay, Jen picture, it's a WebP file. Okay, let's see if we could get it on. And you know what? This is probably the first time I'm opening Adobe Photoshop too. So we will see how this goes. Maybe tomorrow night we'll try and get a video together. Okay, so I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to do that. I want to open on your computer. All right. And then let's go to Northland. Karen Read 2 and screens and our thumbnail. Okay. There is the thumbnail. All right. So now let's open up the picture that we just downloaded and see if it's any decent. Day 7 and screens. And then we got Jen. Okay, so we're going to remove the background. Oh, yeah, not too bad. Okay, I think that might work. I'm going to copy that. And then let's put her in. Oh, there we go. And then I need to just blow her up just a little bit. How's that going to look? And you know what? I like for facing that way. Done. Now I wish we had maybe a little bit more. Actually, I can shrink her up a little bit. Can I? Put her down here. If we had a little bit higher definition picture, but I think that's okay. I think that actually works. So we're going to put her down here. There we go, right there. Maybe Bev's got to move a little bit. I think Bev's got to move a little bit. I think Brandon's got to move a little bit. Then we can open it up, give her a little more exposure. There we go. Now we've got an updated thumbnail. Look at that. A Leviathan. Oh, yes. Leviathan. There you go. Good call. All right. So, updated thing. So we haven't, I mean, the first thumbnail we had like we had the blood evidence, the bags, the paper bag, the Stop and Shop bag, and the bags of, the solo cups full of blood and the leaf blower. And we have none of that yet. We have not gotten to that stuff yet at all. And I don't know that we will. I mean, until the defense, it seems like the defense is going to have to put on all of the stuff that came out from the prosecution last time. There was so much that came out from the prosecution that you're like, what am I even watching? All right, so we're going to save as. All right, Karen Read 2. You know what? I'm going to. Oh, wait. All right, yeah, let's go to Premiere. Now we're going to go to thumbnail because I'm going to make a new folder. live stream KR2. We'll call this .2. And we'll just save our progress as we go. Okay, turn off maximum compatibility. May interfere with the blah, 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 blah. All right. So hopefully we can get some more cool stuff on here, though, like coming up. Like, I think actually, I think the first attorney that needs to go on here is Alessi. I think we need an Alessi picture over here. I think Karen is lonely over here on this side of the thing. I think she's too lonely right now. So we need to find Robert Alessi photo. No, I don't want it. No, I don't need. I don't care. Okay. So let's see. Oh, there's some good ones here. I think that's a good one right there. That is a good picture. Check that one out. Heck yeah. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Leslie. You the man. Because he made such a. He is really, I mean, as. I don't know how I don't know how Bev could actually sit there and say that all these people have done, like it's all the defense that's done this stuff and not the freaking prosecution that has just been ridiculous. All right, so remove the background. Oh yeah, man, I've used Photoshop for a lot of years. And in fact, I can show you going back to like way back in the day, way back. Let me see if I can find an example of my Photoshop work in the past. I'll do that for next time. Oh, I turned off again. Not that I need headphones right now because we're not listening to anything. But okay, I'll make a note and I will pull up my Photoshop from the past. Just seeing if it's like really quick, I could find anything. Because I will tell you that removing the background of photos used to be one of the hardest damn things that you had to do. I mean, it was painstaking. And so one year a few years in a row, I made Christmas cards for the office that I had. And so I took a picture in front of our office and then took everybody out of the picture and transposed it into another place that we were supposedly at, right? So, I mean, it took a long time to do that. Oh, maybe. Nope. No, that's not it. I mean, it took days to get everybody, get the background taken off and put the new background in, move everybody around and not cut off people at the knees. And I mean, and get the sun just right. Cause when the sun was going through their hair, if there was like somebody that had longer hair and it's like you have a spot in your hair that's like showing the background behind you. You had to remove that. This is click a button and say, remove the background, and then click a button and put in a new background. on a beach with palm trees. Okay. Let's see. Now you can click a button that says remove the background, and then I can click another button that says generate me a new background. And there's Elise on a beach, not just with one, but 3 different scenes. Now he looks very much out of place, like he's yelling in a suit, but anyway. All right, I want to step back. How do we go back? There we go. All right, now we're just going to take Elise out of here, and we're going to put him over here. And he gets to join Karen Reed. And we get to invert him because he looks better that way, because he's yelling at these folks over here. He's saying, "What are you thinking, my client?" All right, let's blow that up a little bit. He should probably be behind Karen. Thinking. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So can we get him over here? Not really, unless we move Karen over. All right, let's see if we move Karen. Then we could bring Elise in, but then we lose the arm. Okay. Karen goes back. And let me just actually. There she was. Okay. That's where she initially was. Right? Okay. Yep. Layer order. I think that's good right there. Oh, that hand's getting a little close to Bev. She might be like, hey. All right. Maybe Karen goes a little bit this way. There we go. I'm liking that. I'm thinking that works. So we got Elise in the picture now. He's giving him hell. We got Hank over here. We got Miss Bev. She kind of looks like a piggy in this picture. That's why I kind of like it. Doesn't she? That's kind of piggy looking. Not gonna lie. Is that picture blurry? Yeah, it's a kind of a blurry, low quality picture, but you know, if there's a word that describes Judge Canoni, low quality is one of those words. It's a very much a word that describes this woman. So, okay. On that note, it's been a couple hours. Thank you for hanging out. I'm going to have... Oh, she got herself all beefed up. Somebody else tonight was saying, too, that they think she straightens her hair. They think she's probably got naturally curly hair. And it's all just speculation. You don't know, but I think it was Jessica Mercado. She's like, yeah, I think she straightens her hair. I think she's got natural hair. Not that it matters, but anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, okay, we have no dog left. Crashed over by the couch. All right. We'll be back. I'll be at the store tomorrow with Mr. Michael. I'm loving this setup. I got I got a whole bunch of stuff open right now. And everything is just running along smoothly. Like this is, that is all up and running smoothly. I had Photoshop open, running smoothly. I am very, very pleased with this computer. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna get him some of that. We will enjoy that for sure. So okay, we will see you mañana. Have a wonderful night. And if the FBI comes to your house, don't call a bunch of people and then lie to them and tell them you didn't call a bunch of people. So, all right. Good night. Goodbye.